Good evening, everyone. Being 7 o'clock, please rise and join me in the pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Wayne, can you call roll?
Mr. Burke?
Here.
Mr. Hand? Mr. Grover?
Here.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Here.
Ms. Wozniak? Here. Mrs. Vanderwaal?
Here. Can I have a motion to approve the meeting minutes of August 21st?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion made by Jenny, seconded by Darcy. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? It's going to abstain. Any comments? Motion passes. Lynn, any citizen comments?
Andy?
Good evening, Mr. Bose. How are you?
Good. Good to see you again.
Yeah, how's everybody been? Nice change of faces moving around. Just want to say thanks for the safety radar on Tappan. Now I see the village followed suit. It's really interesting. So within a few hundred yards, we've got 2 of them. And it's tough to keep your speed exactly at 30 miles an hour through both of them. It's interesting to see the change in traffic behavior with just that simple change. Also want to mention, I went to a recent community development meeting in the city, and one of the things they talk about with the community grid is white fog lines along the roads. As part of the community grid program, they're advocating for a band at the curbs. So rather than just a fog line like you might see typically in our town, they're talking about white bands at the curb because it inherently makes people drive slower because it narrows the road but still keeps it at a safe width. So we talk about fog lines on Tappan and Crego. They've been there in the past, and I really think that they ought to be considered to be replaced or talk about getting those done. And does anybody know how crosswalks get determined where they are put?
Jason, do you have any input on that, or Doug?
Designing them or
Yeah, where they would actually get put.
on Tappan Street?
Yeah, Tappan or Crego or wherever. I mean, I don't know
Just in
what that
general.
process happens to be.
Yeah.
But they're white lines too. It's traffic calming. It slows everybody down and makes it safer for everybody. And that's it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, the first item on the agenda is to approve the vouchers for tonight. I didn't write down the amount. It's $62,233, I believe. Can I get a motion to approve the vouchers?
I'll make that motion.
And Jenny, or Darcy? Motion made by Bob, seconded by Darcy. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Can I get a motion to approve the budget transfers dated September 4th, 2024?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Jenny, seconded by Bob. Any questions or comments? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Motion passes. Being 7:05, we will enter into our public hearing to hear comments on the proposed local law D, add chapter 184, tobacco and vapor products to require tobacco retail licenses. Can I get a motion to enter into the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
I'll second it.
All right, thanks, Mike. Motion made by Bob, seconded by Mike to go into public hearing. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
We are now in public hearing. Nadine, do you want to speak to that?
Certainly. So the local law that was introduced on August 23rd is to add a new chapter chapter to the Town of Van Buren Town Code, which will be titled Tobacco and Vapor Products, which will require tobacco licenses throughout the Town of Van Buren. This local law originated in part because of, there's interest in this in municipalities because of the illegal sales of cigarettes, and making sure that those business entities that are selling them are doing so legally. So by having retail licenses at the local level, it adds a level of oversight and regulation to that. This is not intended in discussions with the town board to be a major revenue generator. So this isn't something that they are looking at having significant application fees or anything like that. The interest is really just making the process more transparent, or not more transparent, but making it those businesses who sell cigarettes and tobacco products known and subject to regulations. There are, in addition to your regular components with definitions, the local law establishes the need for a license, who's eligible for a license, what the criteria is to obtain a license, where the applicants for retail licenses may be located, that they have to have proof of proper licensing through New York State. It is, there's an application process that is outlined, as well as when licenses can be issued, how they can be denied. And if someone receives, or if an entity receives a license, what the penalties are if there's violations, or how a license can be terminated or revoked, and a due process for that procedure to revoke a license. So that's all laid out in this local law, as well as what happens if you don't obtain a tobacco license. That's a high-level overview, but I don't know how deep you want me to go.
That's great. I think that's perfect. So with that being said, is there anyone here tonight that would like to speak in favor of this law?
Yeah, I would like to take a moment to thank the town for going through the process of understanding how to create this law to be fair and equitable to businesses and the townspeople for retail operations within the town. And it took a while. Everybody put a lot of effort into it, and I highly support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else would like to speak in favor? Is there anyone who would like to speak against? Okay, thank you. With that being said, can I get a motion to close the public hearing?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
Motion made by Jenny, seconded by Bob to close the public hearing. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? Public hearing is now closed. So we are in a position to go ahead and approve the local law D 2024. If I can get a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
You spent so much time. Motion made by Jenny, seconded by Bob. All those in favor?
Local
Yeah,
law.
sorry, Lynn, go ahead.
Mr. Burke? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Grover?
Yes.
Mrs. Sullivan?
Yes.
Ms. Wozniak?
Yes.
Mrs. Vanderwater?
Yes. Motion passes. I do just want to take a minute to thank Bob for his hard work. He was an integral part in this legislation, and Nadine, always thank you. You do such a great job. Are there any other comments people want to add for this?
I would like to give a little bit of a comment to our prior town councilor, Mike Kolchansky. Him and I spent numerous hours going over this, and with Nadine also, so I would give a little credit to him too, even though he's not here.
He's watching.
Yeah.
I hope so.
Anyone else? Okay, thank you. So I'm going to bump number 8 up. Our lovely town assessor is here tonight, and she was going to give us an overview on the senior citizens exemptions. So Teresa, the floor is yours.
Yes, I put in ahead of each one of your seats while you were in the work session, a review of our total assessed value from 23 and 24, and our taxable value. Okay, so the total assessed value, if you look, and I highlighted the numbers that I'm actually looking at, and you see that there is just under $1.2 million in total assessed value increase from 2023 to 2024, which are the two past rolls. Then if you look at the town city taxable value, you see that there's a $10 million shortfall. And you ask, well, how can that be? So, and you can, both reports are attached. It is primarily, there are other moving parts to this, but the biggest change from 23 to 24 was the increase in the income amount allowed for the senior citizen exemption. Basically, the town of Van Buren followed suit with Onondaga County. Last summer, Onondaga County passed it, and the town of Van Buren passed it. So in 2023, we had 477 senior exemptions that totaled, exemption amounts totaled just over $17 million. If you look at the numbers for 2024, we have 721 exemptions now, and that's a little bit deceiving because a person can have multiple exemptions on the same property based on different percentages. So the coding that we put in the system basically says you get 50% for county town, you might get 20% for school. So those are recognized as two separate exemptions, even though it's just one exemption. But the biggest thing is the exemption amount in the town, the amount exempted, went from 17 million and change to 28 million, almost 29 million. And if you look at the county numbers, which are right next to it, and compare the numbers, they are very similar. So this is what we are going to be looking at when we do the budgets coming up. And to explain this, every exemption that is passed or increased, that amount, whatever you take away from that total assessment, has to be made up by the property owners that aren't over 65, or they're not a veteran, or whatever the case is for the exemption. The only exemption that doesn't apply and work that way is the STAR exemption. And that is because the STAR exemption is reimbursed eventually, or reimbursed to the school district, or through the check program instead of the exemption from the state. So that is covered by the state. Every exemption that you pass or increase has the ability to shift the tax burden from whoever's getting the discount to the people that aren't. So that is basically what's happened not only in Van Buren. There's going to be a shift, I believe. I haven't looked at the county as a whole, but you can see there's about a $10 million difference in Van Buren in the county amount as well. So when you're looking at passing exemptions, that's the thing that you want to remember. It's a great thing for the seniors. But everyone else is going to pick up the tab. And because Van Buren is one of the smaller municipalities, the larger your municipality, the more you can absorb those changes because there's more properties to spread that out, and there's typically more value to recoup. Being that Van Buren is one of the smallest municipalities in Onondaga County, this is going to be a hit, for sure. So I just wanted you, Supervisor Vanderwater asked me to come in and explain it and ask, if you have questions or questions later, you can speak to me, but she wanted me to come in and explain that, and she asked me to remind you all that whenever you're looking at passing another exemption, this is what you may face. and everything but the star works that way. The problem is we haven't changed our income amounts in 15 to 20 years. And we did bump up to where the county was, but then the county went to this new level. And when we followed suit, we shifted a lot of the tax burden. Questions?
Well, we also, by freezing assessments, aren't seeing the same increase in assessed value we could have seen too, which would have absorbed some of this.
Yeah, well, we're not freezing assessments. We're not doing equalization. We're not chasing market value, but we are assessing for all new building, construction, additions,
But
permits.
it's substantially, I mean, to only increase 1.1 million year over year when we know what the market's doing. I mean, that's us also trying to hold the line on what your
Yes.
assessed value is.
Yes,
Yeah, so.
that's going hand in hand. Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? No, my only comment is that I don't regret this. I'm so, that, seniors are, historically on fixed incomes, and I think that if there's something that we can do to help them with that burden, then I'm okay with that. So that's me personally, but.
And the only other thing you have is just a little blurb about the senior citizen exemption and how it's a sliding scale, and it lists a couple of the brackets, 5%, 20%, so that's what we're looking at, okay? And we've actually mailed them all out this week to renew for next year. So this is a moving target. Any property that's sold between now, over the next month that we're, deeds that we're getting in, we're taking those exemptions off. If a senior sells a property, they no longer own it, we remove those before county town bills and rates go out. So this is a moving target. It won't go up. It may go down a little bit, but I just wanted you to be aware of, as you do the budget process, that this is what we're looking at. And what we're going to have to deal with. And the only other thing I have is, due to circumstances beyond my control, next Friday, the 13th, the assessor's office will be closed that day. My staff, my clerk, assessment clerk, is off that day, and I had dental surgery scheduled for last Wednesday, which the dentist pushed to my backup appointment, which is Thursday, so I will not be in on Friday. So we have put signs up. Lynn has posted it on the website. And all of those 500 to 600 senior renewals that we sent out, we put little pink notes inside letting everyone know that the office will be closed that Friday. So hopefully we won't get too many people running in unaware.
Thanks, Teresa.
Thank you.
No problem.
Okay, moving on. Can I get a motion to authorize CSI Inc. to install a concrete pad at Snowdale Park Pavilion as part of the 2023 Community Development Project at a cost of $7,000?
I'll make that motion.
Full second.
Motion made by Jenny, seconded by Mike. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Darcy, did you want to speak to that at all? It's almost the end of that project up in Snowdale, correct? Yeah, this was part and parcel with the half-court basketball, the fencing, a pavilion, a couple of picnic tables, a grill eventually, and a parking pad to be able to pull off a little bit. And I've seen people using it, so I think it's really nice. That is nice. Great, thank you. Can I get a motion to declare item 402 an Olympus C3000 Zoom digital camera surplus and destroyed?
I'll make that motion. Full second.
Motion made by Bob, seconded by Mike. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Next item, can I get a motion to approve a speed reduction request to the state DOT for Pottery Road from the intersection of Herman Road to Pottery Road through the Camillus Town Line? The current speed limit is 55. We have received a letter from Mr. Shadell requesting that it be reduced to 35 miles per hour. Can I get a motion for that request?
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
Motion made by Jenny, seconded by Darcy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any comments?
I believe that this has been an ongoing request,
Yes, it has.
so I think this is...
Well, we're gonna try it again. I don't know, I mean, because it goes to the Camillus town line and they have their own force. I don't know if we can ask them to see if they would be willing to sit out there and enforce it. I mean, it would just be a request, we don't tell them what to do. I don't know if you want to try reaching out to the Camillus. I mean, I don't know if it does anything, but obviously, these things are really hard. The hardest part of these things are the enforcement piece. You know, we can reduce speed limits to 0, and if we don't have anyone out there ticketing people, it won't matter. So that's the frustrating piece of it. So, I mean, that is a good point, because if we could get it reduced to 35, and people may not see that it's reduced or may not care if it isn't a pretty good stretch of land, you know, where you can kind of, you can pretty much accelerate. I will do
Rooting
that.
for the reduction, but really it's enforcement that's an issue.
Okay, so I think we have a motion by Jenny, seconded by Darcy. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passes. So I spoke about this at the last board meeting. We had a different software in the codes office. It really wasn't user-friendly. We got a lot of complaints from the residents that going into it and applying for a building permit just wasn't user-friendly. It was hard to navigate through. There were a lot of issues with the internet or it just not going through at all, and people would be frustrated and then just end up coming into town hall. So we really looked at revamping that software, and our current codes officer uses this Williamson software and felt like it was very user-friendly. It was very simplistic in what you need to do to navigate through it, but yet it held a lot of information that was great for our files. So we've decided to move toward purchasing the software for our codes department at a annual, well, the startup cost is $26,430. Thereafter, the annual fees will be only around $2,325 a year. So it's just the startup that is just a huge chunk of money, but we do have this money budgeted in our current budget, so it won't impact anything within the budget of the codes department. Can I get a motion to move forward with this software purchase?
I'll make the motion.
No second.
Motion made by Mike and seconded by Bob. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then last item is to approve the cost to mow 1814 Warner's Road at the cost of $1,200. This is a problem property that our fire marshal's been out several times to try to get this homeowner to cut down his grass to no avail. So we're at the point where we're going to hire a contractor to come in and mow that for us, and this will get added to the tax bill, correct? Meeting, okay. So can I get a motion to move forward with allowing the cost to mow in the amount of $1,200?
I'll make that motion.
Second. Motion made by Bob.
Exciting one, the second.
Seconded by Darcy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Do you want to do the swale? I didn't really write down any of the information. Do you want to do that today?
I don't think I do it today.
Okay. Moving on then, we'll go to counselor committee reports. Mike, anything?
I have nothing.
Jenny?
I do. I would like to set up a meeting for Wednesday, September 25th at 3 p.m. at Van Buren Parks for a committee meeting with Parks and Rec and Buildings and Grounds. And I'd also like to thank the Highway Department. I got a couple of feedback emails from the residents on Idlewood, and they are thrilled that the speed sign was back up right before school. So thank you.
Oh, I forgot school started.
That's it.
Okay, thanks, Jen. Darcy? Nothing.
The other thing I have is another public service announcement is school has started today in Baldwinsville. So I would hope that all of the residents will watch your speed. School buses are out in the morning bright and early. So we just ask that everybody just watch your speed, watch out for the kids.
Thanks, Bob. I have no other further comments. Highway Superintendent Doug.
Thank you, Mr. Bowles, for mentioning the signs on Tappan Street where they were for a while. And we did move them back just before the start of school to Idlewood to catch that always problem out there. And I would like to remind people that I went out to check them today because it was new for us to program it to match our hours, which we did get. Everything is working as it should. The line for vehicles picking up children was out the exit of school down Idlewood onto Village Boulevard. That's how many people are in line.
Wow.
That in itself is not ideal. However, a lot of these people were not even parked near the side of the road. I put my lights on and I had my left tire on the grass on the opposing side to get up past them to get up to our signs. If there was ever an incident that required any type of emergency equipment, they wouldn't get there. They would not get there. These people need to be, if you're going and getting them, I understand, but please get over enough safely that the emergency vehicle could get by there. Heaven forbid somebody has some event, you want them to be able to get there. So please, everybody be considerate of everybody else and maintain a safe speed as you go through any part of the village, the town, and we'll all be happier.
I wonder why so many people were picking up their kids.
Well, I think it's a tendency nowadays, that's just my opinion, but I also think the first couple of days, especially in the elementary situation, quite often the first couple of days, elementary schools tend to get more people dropping them off and picking them up.
This is so much fun.
I know, I would be like, you're taking the bus home. Thanks, Doug, welcome back.
Thank you.
Engineer, Jason?
I have no comments tonight. Unless anybody has any questions for me?
Attorney comments?
I have nothing either.
Okay. Well, I guess that's it. Can I get a motion to adjourn to the next town board meeting, September 18th at 7 p.m.?
I'll make a motion. Second.
Motion made by Mike, seconded by Bob. All those in favor?
All right.
Motion passes. Thank you, guys.